We are family.
Hey, 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 hey.
I got all my brothers with me.
Sisters and me. Damn it, Tyler, you do this every time.
Nah.
How are things, man? Big day in your household.
Big day in the household. Horrible day in Atlanta sports.
God, the Falcons fucking suck.
Did you? Did you see what just happened to the Braves?
No.
They were down 5 runs with 2 outs in the ninth inning, and scored 6 runs. And Kenley Jansen gave up 2 solo shots to lose in the
To the
bottom of the ninth.
Mariners?
Yeah.
Listen, that's your own fault. Y'all gotta fucking pace yourselves on how y'all are too much. How much you guys are following
Every game.
Brave sports. Yeah, it's just. I mean, I respect the shit out of it, but it's like,
Well, it's. I mean,
listen,
they're
I
in a
respect you for it, brother. But I mean, Jesus Christ, dude,
they're in a
what are you
they're in a
drinking?
pennant race. This is a water.
Straight vodka?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We got 10 listeners in here already.
Hey, what up, boys? Donde están, bitches? What's up, James? Can I tell you what I did yesterday? I'm gonna wrap myself out, even though I told the GF that I wouldn't. Can I tell you what I did yesterday?
Yeah, please.
I went to the Ivy.
Oof. You know, I saw Liz's Instagram story, but I didn't see you in the story, so I was wondering if you were there. Sounds like you
Call it
were.
close. I was. It was. I told her to keep me out of the story because I was like, listen, look, I'm working. Can I tell you real quick? You know how many views that my week 1 recap got on what do you call it? I love that. About the Bojangles tailgate box. Do you know how many views my week 1 recap video got on Facebook last week?
45,000.
47 and a half.
Hell yeah, that's crazy.
It's pretty sick, right?
How did it go so crazy like that? Do you know?
Probably my face, bro. People want a piece.
That's a good point.
People always have, always will.
All right, should we start recording?
Probably because are we not recording yet?
3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the College Football Uncensored podcast, brought to you by Saturday Down South. I'm your host, Tyler Huck, and with me, as always, my co-host, Chris Marler. Chris, what a weekend. What a wild week, too.
Let's tell everyone what we're going to talk about off the top so people know. We're going to talk Texas-Bama and the reaction from that. We're going to talk about the new AP poll that came out. We got to talk about Scott Frost getting fired.
Yep.
We're going to do some voicemails. What am I missing? We're going to do all the games.
We're going to talk about how no one has a chance to beat Georgia for the rest of the year.
No, here we go. I love it.
Everybody's bad.
Everybody's bad, but Georgia. Yeah, but Georgia. Yeah. You know what I'm excited for is the level of horny for disrespect that's going to happen now, which is they're the number 1 team in the country, and they're still going to find ways to be like, oh, what? Only 54 votes? 54 out of 55. Who the fuck didn't vote us number 1? Say his name or her name. It's probably he. You know, it's probably a woman. I should have said that part.
No, yeah, don't do that. It made the joke better, but it's just it's 2022, bro.
Dude, how about the Sun Belt and the Fun Belt? Like your dad, if you talk to your dad, not yours personally, I'm just saying in general on this podcast, high five the fuck out of him because he had him. If your dad grew up as an SEC football fan in the 70s and 80s, he had himself a day yesterday or the 60s.
The Sun Belt was getting it done yesterday for sure. Yeah. A lot of great games. All right, do we want to start with voicemails before we actually get into the recap?
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't pre-screened any of these, so
no. We haven't pre-screened any of them.
I mean, I haven't listened to them. Have you?
I don't know.
I think they're gonna be fine.
Well, we don't need to do all of them. We need to get into Texas-Bama.
Well, we need to do the voicemails. It's a tradition. Unlike
but we do them at the end of every game that we talk about. That's the tradition.
That's true. But
hey, CJ,
since we haven't pre-screened these, I don't know when to play these. Do you just want to talk about Texas-Bama? I mean, the first voicemail we got outside of before the games was at 2:30. So that was probably
Rick Taylor makes the and William Gray. They said hit play. Let's do it.
All right.
Time's
where we
up.
at here?
Let's do this.
All right. Tell me if you can't hear it. Here's the first one.
Hey guys, morning. It's 10:45 a.m. Central Standard Time currently. 15 minutes till the big noon kick. Which makes no sense to me. But
who is this?
I just went back and re-listened to Marler's Texas hate speech from the last podcast, just to get a little extra fired up. And it made me regret not doing more this past week for Texas Hate Week. Being a Bama fan, being an SEC fan, I think all SEC fans genuinely hate Texas with a burning passion. And I actually live by a lot of LSU fans. And so from that fiasco like 2-3 years ago, everybody around me hates Texas just as much as I do. And so I could have been doing so much more. I could have been flashing horns down to everybody who I saw. I could have been changing my Instagram bio, my Facebook, everything. I could have been doing so much more, and it made me regret not doing so much more. But you know what? That just means that Saban and the boys are going to have to handle it, and I think they will. I think they're going to do fantastic. I'm going to try to give you guys a call back again after the game, and yeah, roll tide, and of course, horns down. Let's go, baby.
I love it. So what sucks too is I spent an entire summer telling everyone what was going to happen in this game, and I wasn't far from it. And then took less than 24 hours to ruin any fucking credibility I could have possibly given myself, because I was like, fuck Texas, horns down. That stadium's going to be empty at halftime, all that kind of shit.
Yep. It's true.
As Jeff said, my best friend, Jeff Colby, he made the best comment about it. He goes, Chris, I said, here's my thing last night. He goes, I don't need to hear your thing. I've already heard all of your things. Everyone has. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? And he says, the back pedal of all back pedals.
It was a back pedal.
What was a back pedal?
It was actually like a forward pedal.
What was?
Like, you spent all offseason being like, this is going to be a tough game for Bama. And then before the game, you're like, we're going to beat that ass.
Yeah, I mean, I got my fandom going in for sure, but I told you all of like the logic, like let's separate the logic from the fandom, and that was very clear to see. I said I've been saying for months what was going to happen in that game, and I also called it perfectly about in terms of like you're not going to get any credit to Bama, like all that kind of shit. But he made the best comment. He goes, "Yeah, no, it was a great job, man. You put you bet on every single number on the roulette board, and then celebrated the win afterwards. That was good. That was really good. I thought it was pretty funny."
Yeah, that's funny. Well, let's get so that same guy called back twice during the game, and both of them were over 2 minutes long, so we probably can't play those. But let's talk about the game. Let's just get into it.
Okay.
It was a crazy Saturday. 7 ranked teams lost. Bama was on the ropes. They looked to be maybe one of the ones that would be losing.
Should have lost that game.
It was a very strange thing to see play out. Quinn Ewers looked awesome, and then of course he goes out with injury. Hudson Card comes in, he looks okay. He gets banged up in the middle of the game. I thought where Bama would have lost the game for themselves was obviously not only is the O-line not great still, wide receivers leave much to be desired, but the penalties. I've never seen Bama look like that on penalties.
I love that. You haven't? Have you watched them play on the road recently at all?
That has to have been the most penalties they've ever had under Saban.
It was. So I did this stat. It did not get a lot of likes. I don't know why, but it had in the last 13 seasons, Bama's had 11 or more penalties like 9 times in the last 13 years. They had 11 in the first half. The most they'd ever had, because again, we always hear this whole thing, and we heard it last year, right? With Auburn and Bama gets all the calls and blah 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 blah. The last 2 times Bama's gone to Auburn, they've had the most penalties they've had all season. They had 11 last year, and they had 13 in 2019. But and 13 was the previous record. 15 penalties in this game. They probably could have been called for 20, as you saw all over social media, I'm sure. It's
4 to 6 weeks for Ewers.
4 to 6 weeks out for Ewers. It did look,
which sucks.
It does suck. It's actually that program. I hate that for him. But I will say that I don't like it. Well, see, here's what was never going to happen. Okay, Bama, it was weird because like going into the night before, we were talking to somebody about it, and I was like, think about how many SEC fans are pulling for Bama, which never happens, right? That's how unlikable Texas is. That being said, the moment that game started, you saw a shift in that. And the only way that was going to continue was if Bama dominated. But what was never going to happen in this game, what was never going to happen, especially from a social media standpoint, was you were never going to have fans give credit to Texas for fucking anything. You weren't going to have them boys play their hearts out, and they're a good program. You were going. That was 5-7 Texas from a year ago. That was Texas from previous years where they didn't go to bowls. They haven't had an offensive player drafted since Vince Young. All of those things. That's who Bama played yesterday. It had nothing to do with this year's team. It had nothing to do with Steve Sarkisian being an absolute fucking genius when it comes to offensive football. What he was going to look like on script, the stuff he was able to dial up, had nothing to do with. I guarantee you that even our audience, and we have a very smart, intelligent audience. Xavier Worthy is somebody no one fucking knew before yesterday. A 164-pound receiver, nobody knew who that was. Bijan Robinson, you definitely heard of. You definitely heard of Quinn Ewers. But that was never going to be something where it was like Bama went on the road and had a good win against one of the top programs in college football history, or a team that's like you told me not to say it, but I'm going to fucking say it. The most hold on. The most perfect example out of all of this. Was an article on our own website that said we overlooked the flaws of this Alabama team and Texas exposed them. Who's we? I told all of you this is what was going to happen. We talked about all this all week. We talked about it all summer. I said, so what I don't understand, I say it all the time, we're a nation of haters and all that kind of shit. Bama went on the road. Bryce Young stepped up in the second half. It's crazy to me that the story isn't anything about how great of a game Texas played and how great of a job Steve Sarkisian did as the head coach of that football team, not as the offensive play caller, not as the offensive. Think about they should have they beat Bama with Quinn Ewers. I don't know if it's a Colt McCoy 2.0 thing. Who knows? But with a backup quarterback, with the best running back in the country getting bottled up and going 21 carries for 57 yards. With all of that happening, you still find a way to be in it and have a chance to win late. The defensive line looked fantastic. That program looks different than a year ago. And there should be so much more credit being given to Texas than any of it is.
It's true. Sark is definitely a good play caller. Texas lost this game they were in scoring position 6 out of their 11 drives that they had. And they came away with 19 points. That's not going to get it done against Bama.
No, exactly.
And, I thought, to your point, good play calling. I think going for those short field goals when you're playing Bama, that's not how you beat Bama. You don't settle for field goals. I think you got to be a little bit more aggressive in those situations. But other than that, because to me, it's like if I think about playing Bama, it's like how many times I'm going to get down to the point where I could score. If you get down there, and did someone from our Twitch? What just happened? Okay. All right.
Oh Jesus! Now it's going from every single thing. Well, somebody said, "Don't be a casual." Worthy was great last year. That was the whole point I was making. That was literally the whole point.
Yeah. Nice Josh Pate reference though by CJ Clower there.
Yeah.
Casual.
I like CJ.
So obviously, there's a lot of crazy shit. How about that play in the end zone with Bryce?
Okay, so here we go.
Because that was insane.
That was the worst call in American sports history. Let's call it what it is. That's I don't really know what else to say about that. That was a terrible call. And then the ref did like a Dan Mullen type thing and was like, actually, someone said that to me, and I didn't even know. Right. CJ, you're not stupid. Don't say that about yourself. But I was like, watching that. I was like, because I'm watching it happen, and I see the play action pass. I see the slow developing play, and I'm like, well, that's a ballsy call because, Bryce is back there. He's been under duress a lot. He started throwing off his back foot. It seemed like early on in that game. It was not SEC reps. Was it SEC reps? No, it was not. I've never recognized that crew. But I've never seen those refs before, so I don't think it was SEC refs. But anyway, so he drops back and he's like, I'm like, all I can think of is like, oh, this looks just like Auburn from last year. And then the pocket starts closing. And you're like, oh, boy. And he goes down, and then they call it targeting. That's what I was like, oh, man, that's like.
Targeting and roughing the passer.
Targeting and roughing the passer. Now, but here's the thing also. All the crying that we heard. Listen, Quinn Ewers, I'm going to say it because every single one of you would be saying if it was your team, that's fucking Charmin soft if you can't finish the game. I don't know what you want me to do. It's the first quarter. You fell on your arm. You fell on your arm awkwardly. Bryce took so many fucking hits yesterday. He took so many hits yesterday. He took almost the exact same hit as he took a drive before.
I can't tell if you're being serious right now.
I'm dead serious.
You think Quinn Ewers should just come back in the game after dislocating his clavicle?
I'm just saying, like Bryce finished the game. He got his ass handed to him all day.
Well, he probably didn't dislocate his fucking shoulder.
Well, that's because he's tougher than him, and he has the Lord on his side. Everyone knows it. My mom told me. No, but it wasn't like a dirty hit. And neither was any of the hits on Bryce. I'm just saying, like, I don't know what at some point. I'm telling you objectively, Bama should have lost that game. There should have been more than 15 penalties. That was not a good call in the end zone. That should have been whatever. I'm objectively telling you all that. I'm also objectively telling you this. If you go 1 for 5 in the red zone against an Alabama team you have on the ropes at home at 11 a.m. in sweltering heat and all that kind of shit, that you created the perfect atmosphere that you wanted. You did all that. If you can't beat them and you can't score more than once in 5 times, and you can't, I mean, dude, Bama won by winning off a fucking field goal. Like,
dude, how funny is it that Texas kicker's name was Auburn?
I told you that the day before. One of our listeners, one of my favorite people, the UConn fan, Mike. He goes, do you know that their kicker's name is Auburn? And then I looked up his fucking picture, and I was like, this fucking Shia LaBeouf looking troll doll. Just, I mean, that if you haven't seen the picture, throw it up, Tyler, because it is fucking hilarious.
Let's see what I can find.
Like,
we'll talk about this.
I will say that you have to, at some point, you have to give credit to Texas, and you also got to give credit to Bama for going to win in a fucking tough environment. Like, I know that we all like to talk shit and all that kind of stuff, but at the same time, it's like you got to give them. You look like Jack, dude. A jacked Carrot Top. Carrot Top is jacked. He's on steroids. That's
there he is.
That's unbelievable.
There's Auburn.
No, I just got to say, I thought that it was a really good win. I'm glad they escaped. And I'll tell you what, man, and like the best part about being 2-0 is getting a chance to go 3-0. Now, that being said, they're going to lose this week to Louisiana Monroe. That's a foregone conclusion. We all know that.
They're playing Louisiana Monroe this week?
Yeah.
Okay. Before we move off this game, does this change your outlook on the rest of Bama's season? I mean, there's some serious concerns, I think, along the O-line and wide receiver.
What did I say before the season, Tyler?
No, I know that, but we still thought that Bama would probably go undefeated until they played Georgia.
Don't say we.
Who'd you have them losing to in the regular season?
I said they were going to lose at least one game. They might lose in week 2, and they were not going to make the playoff.
Okay.
I don't see. This is what I don't get. like I've been saying this. If I say it, I'm hedging. All I can think of is bad words to say right now. All y'all can.
So you saw this Bama offense looking that poor.
No, I didn't see that coming. I think that, but see, here's the other thing too. Like the takeaways are so short-sighted. It's fucking. First off, it's September 11th when we're recording this, right? Like, there's so much football left.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, so
we found out this week that a lot of shit from week 1 didn't make sense in week 2, including Anthony Richardson winning the Heisman.
Right. So then
my
we talk
God,
about like
he looked bad. Anyways,
he looked really bad. But when you talk about stuff like, well, Will Anderson hype died. Well, you know what didn't die? The defense. Like they've only had 3 sacks through 2 games, but they stepped up when they needed to. They made plays when they needed to. Like, and again, like if you would have watched that game, I didn't know this as well as watching it. I didn't know that we held Bijan Robinson to 57 yards rushing on 21 carries, the best running back in the country. I didn't realize they tried to run the ball 33 times. They had 77 total plays. They ran the ball 33 times. They held them to 2.4 yards per rush. Pretty damn good.
Yeah, that
pretty
is
damn
very
good, especially against a defense. So you might be able to expose that a little bit. Now, the receiving core is a huge fucking issue. And I told everyone that this offseason, that Jermaine Burton was not going to be a guy like you saw last year with Jameson Williams. And
So
everyone's
did
like,
what happened there? Because I feel like they always recruit well. Did just a lot of these guys not pan out?
Also, maybe it's only week 2, and maybe Texas did a really good job game planning against that defense or against that offense.
Maybe.
I don't
Did
know.
you see that Utah State lost to Weber State 35-7?
No, they did not. Is that real?
Yeah, that's real.
Fuck, Bama's gonna lose 3 games this year. I didn't know that. You could tell me that way earlier. All right, it's been 20 minutes. Let's get on to something else.
All right. Let's go back to the hotline here.
Yeah.
This came in at 9:00 p.m.
What's up, Huck and Marler? Just had a quick question for you, Marler. I wanted you to rank these in order of the most cringy. Number 1 is A&M's offense trying to do anything. Number 2 is Alabama's receiver trying to get separation. Or 3, the lady who was interviewing you on Fox 5 this morning saying, "Let's get down and dirty," because the face she made was absolutely priceless.
Nice. So, a great question. My guy clearly tuned in to the Fox 5.
Yeah, I appreciate that, guys.
Yeah. So that's just a natural segue into talking about A&M.
Yeah.
My God.
How
frustrated are you if you're an A&M fan right now?
How happy are you? Let's get it out of the way right now.
I love hate watching A&M and Florida and Miami. Those are my 3 teams I just love hate watching.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, that App State team gave up 62 points to UNC last week.
63.
And UNC did not have their 2 top receivers in that game.
I didn't know that part. So many little tidbits. They didn't have over 100 yards receiving or 100 yards rushing, which is tough to do.
Nearly impossible.
Against anybody.
Especially a G5 team.
At home. What's crazy about all this too is that, and I don't want to sit here and beat up A&M because we do that a lot. Admittedly, we do that a lot. But
it's true.
They got beat. They got beat.
Yeah. So we've been talking about this and
God damn it, Tyler. Excuse my language. Why did you have to fucking say that? UNC winning a game with their best 2 receivers.
What a comment there by B. Summers.
He's so good at trolling. I respect the shit out of it. But it's like he just sits there and waits for it, just like never miss a moment. No, I watched the 4th quarter of this game. I was sitting up there at the Ivy, and I was like, "Hey, if this game's close, I'm gonna have to go." And Liz and me were both like, "I'm sure it won't be close though, so who cares?" And then you look at it and you're like, "Oh my God, we're going to the 4th quarter," and
okay, so going into the 4th quarter, A&M had run 2 plays in App State territory
in their zone, in their territory. That's fucking
that is
9 first downs. No.
I just
9 first downs. Haynes King, 13 of 20. What is the offense?
This game wasn't even that close. The only reason it was this close is because they returned a kick for the touchdown.
Yeah,
they would have scored 7 points against App State, a team that just gave up 63 points to a mediocre UNC team.
Can I read you A&M's play chart?
Yes.
Not like all of it, obviously, but here's their series: punt, fumble, touchdown, That's when they were down 7-0. Punt, end of the half. All right, so in your first half, you have 5 possessions. You punt on 3 of them. You have a fumble on 1 of them, and you have a touchdown. Here's you get the ball coming out of the half, right? You tied 7-7 with App State. Punt, fumble, touchdown, missed field goal. They had in the second half, they only had. How does that even happen? Oh my God! So in the second half,
because they had no possessions.
Right, App State had the ball for the entire second half, but like punt, fumble, touchdown, missed field goal. I mean, like they looked bad. And here's the other thing too. There's not a worse match for these people, in my opinion. Everyone talks about like A&M fans. Hear me out. You have married the hot girl from 10 years ago, right? That has all sorts of fucking issues and red flags, but you were like, you know what? Listen, I was a virgin in high school, and she was a head cheerleader, and she was great back then. But now I have an opportunity to be with them. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to ignore all these fucking red flags, and I'm going to sign them up for a lifetime contract. That's literally what you did. And now you're talking about like with a guy, I don't know how to say this, but A&M and Jimbo Fisher aren't a good fit. And that's not because they lost to App State yesterday. It's because that guy is a narcissist asshole who is never wrong about anything. Yeah. And A&M is this very communal, like, happy-go-lucky, like, we believe in A&M, and you found the fucking yard barker at the carnival that was telling you, like, yeah, you can easily win these games. I'm giving way too many references to things that don't make sense. But, like, yeah, listen, I'm not spraying Pam on the top of these bottles. Throw a ring on there. You'll be fine. It was like, you think so, Jimbo? You really think so? Of course, dude. And that's what's happening now. Which one did you like better? When I said the past their prime homecoming queen, or did you like the yard barker at the carnival?
Yard barker, I think, was my favorite. Look, I kind of feel like at this point, if I say anything about Jimbo, it just seems like I'm just trolling. But
petty.
But for real, I saw other people that are not even affiliated with Florida State saying this. I kind of feel like Jameis Winston might have got him $75 million guaranteed.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because I've said on this podcast before, on years where we didn't have Jameis, every game we had with Jameis, we won. But that last Oregon game, 29 straight wins. We lost 2 or 3 games a year, 2 of them to teams we should never lose to.
Right.
And if you don't have a generational type QB come through the program, that's just what you got to expect from Jimbo at this point. It's what he's done every other year in his career.
Right. And the whole thing about, well, like, because this has been a recent thing too, where people are like, well, look what he did with EJ Manuel and Christian Ponder. You can go sell that to kids and turn it.
3 losses.
Do you want to be sold on the fact that, hey, I fleeced an NFL franchise out of tens of millions of dollars on telling them that this was a good quarterback? Again, Carnival yard barker, like, I don't get it.
I love that I'm just LBB at this point.
Oh, yeah, little bitch boy. I forgot about that. Sorry.
But I just Jimbo is a fantastic recruiter, fantastic developer of talent. His offense doesn't make any sense for the college game at this point. And he, being the stubborn dickhead that he is, refuses to change it.
Oh, he won't change it. No.
And he's always, this was the problem before we had Jameis at Florida State. Everyone was like, he needs to hire an OC and get his head out of the play sheet. Because I tweeted it during the game. It was very odd that they just refused to show Jimbo on television, like pretty much the whole game.
The whole game.
And I tweeted out, I said, I know they're not showing him, but I know he's got his damn glasses on, half tilted down his nose, head in the play sheet, looking panicked, trying to find the next play as his squad is getting rolled up on by a group of 5 team.
Right.
He either needs to get an OC or significantly change the way that he's going to call his plays. And I just don't see it happening. So unless you have some sort of Jameis Winston coming down the pike at QB, this is what you should expect if you're an A&M fan.
Yeah.
This is the track record. I'm not even being a hater at this point.
No, I agree.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens with A&M. They got Miami coming in there next week.
Yeah.
That's you. I'll put it this way: if they look like that on offense against Miami, they might get blown out.
Yeah, bro. If they look like that on offense against almost any Power 5 team,
yeah.
I mean, Kansas put up 55 last week or yesterday.
Yeah, how about that?
Kansas won by 13 in. I would love to know what the numbers were. It almost could not have been anything that went past the or affected the over, because it was like 55-42 or something, and that's 97 points. But like them winning by 13 in overtime was
by the way, my degenerate play of the week last night was, and I was bored. It was late, and Hawaii was down 28-0 to Michigan in the second quarter, and the live line was Michigan minus 70. So I took Hawaii plus 70, and they covered.
You're a fucking idiot. I love you.
Covered.
Did you watch the Oregon State finale or finish?
No. I fell asleep. I fell asleep in the middle of the BYU Baylor game. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, where are we talking about next? We got a lot to talk about still. We
All right, we got another voicemail here.
Okay.
Hey guys, it's your local Florida resident again.
Yes.
It's the day after the loss to Kentucky. I started to call y'all last night, but I was fucked up. And, yeah.
I love this dude.
Well, we took an L in Anthony Richardson's third career start. Easily one of the weirdest games I've ever watched in a while, but it is what it is. Well, I mean, hopefully he comes back next year. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I'm pissed as shit. Yeah, we losing to fucking Kentucky again when they didn't have none of their great players there. Will Levis, I mean, he made some decent throws, but for the most part, Florida was lighting his ass up all night.
Yeah.
The refs were atrocious. I don't know. I'm not even going to lie to you. I woke up this morning, I was pissed again, and then I thought about it. It could be worse. It could be Jimbo or Scott Frost. And then I thought about it, life ain't all that bad. It's not all that bad at all. All right, fellas. Have a good one.
I love it. I love it.
My favorite caller by far.
So great, man. So great.
Yeah. So let's get into the Florida Kentucky game. Man, we should have seen this coming, and we talked about this before.
Yeah.
Like, let's pump the brakes. Like, Anthony Richardson looked great, and I feel I've done this to myself at this point, but I kind of can't ever not seem like a hater if I talk negatively about A&M or Florida. But we said this. We said, like, let's just pump the brakes. All right, like, there's a reason why that spread in the Utah game was +3.
Yeah,
which was basically like, okay, Utah and Florida are pretty close. They're not like, this wasn't supposed to. It was number 7 versus unranked, but it's not this crazy matchup. Florida's got no chance,
right?
And it was a Pac-12 team against an SEC team. A lot of times, you're going to favor that SEC team, and Florida wasn't great last year, and Richardson looked great in that game. But let's just pump the brakes. They jumped to number 12 from being unranked after that game.
Yeah,
Anthony Richardson has the biggest move in Heisman odds, and now we get Kentucky coming in. Oh, little old Kentucky, just no chance down here. We're 5.5 point underdogs. Look at us, and I mean their offense sucks.
Yeah, yeah.
But they had a pick 6, and then they had that pick that got them down to like the 5-yard line. And I mean, other than that. Look, they're missing Rodriguez, of course, but like their defense, man, like they just did a great job, and Stoops does it again.
So I tweeted this earlier, and I'm part of the problem. This is not going to be like I told you in that article about I'm part of this, very much so. And that is the hold on, I gotta undo these jeans. These are my stand-up jeans, and I'm sitting down. It's not good. I had a big old dinner.
You have stand-up jeans?
You never seen that with girls? They have like stand-up jeans and sit-down jeans?
No.
Babe, aren't there stand-up jeans and sit-down jeans? Thank you. You never seen that?
No.
Talk amongst yourselves. Okay. Either way. No. So when I was watching like the response to this, because Kentucky somehow jumps to number 9, and maybe they deserve to be number 9. I really don't know. I knew that I was overreacting late in the week. I knew I was overreacting to the Miami of Ohio thing from week 1, but I'd already said enough about Kentucky that like I kind of had to stand by it and just kind of stand in the paint, take my L if that was what's going to happen. The year is 2048, Tyler. Mark Stoops has won 10 games in a row, or 10 games again the year before, and we are still somehow sleeping on Kentucky about them not being a very good program. I
did see the stat that Mark Stoops has a better record than Jimbo Fisher does over the last, ever since he's been at A&M.
Can I tell you why? Because he's a better coach. What an evil laugh. You sounded like fucking Eric from Billy Madison. No, so anyway, I thought that, by the way, we didn't even say one shout out to the Queen dying. That's fucked, man.
Oh yeah, shout out to the Queen.
No, fuck the Queen. She's like a pretty bad person. Anyway, just setting you up, bro. I want everyone to know that you're like huge into Monarchs. Kentucky they reap the benefits of Florida being way overranked. I don't disagree with that necessarily, but I will say this. I think that Kentucky is a team that is like a lot more well-rounded and like developed and like has more pieces than we ever give them credit for. AR-15, I know one of the questions here in the comments was, what's the biggest leap you have from the rankings after beating Utah, or the leap of the hype train of AR? The hype train of AR is still very real. I said this last week. That team will go as far as he will take them. He is must-see TV, and I still stand by that. He looked like shit last night. He was 14
God,
and
he
35.
Had awful throws.
Awful. And that might be a product of him reading his own press clippings. I don't know. It might not be. That's like pure speculation. At the same time, it's very clear he is the team. He is the offense, right? You had a 16-7 lead going into the half against a very good Kentucky team. It's not easy to start a new era with a head coach when you have 2 straight matchups against the teams. And this is actually a really, really, really good point from William Gray. And I know he's purely saying this based off of the Georgia game last year, but he's not wrong. He lets one bad thing turn into 5. He is the guy that hooks or slices a ball almost out of bounds, and then it's like, listen, dude, just fucking punch out. It's a par 5 and just try to save par and get up to the green or whatever. And he's like, no. I got an opening. I can split these 2 trees. And it's like, please don't do that. You already look dumb enough in those fucking cargo shorts that you wore out here. And they're like, no, I can do this. And then he hits one of the trees and it bounces back in his face. That's Anthony Richardson. He's a goofy pants and a fat ass.
Loves golf. I mean, when the big plays are made, it's obviously it's like majestic, but the problem is,
stab myself with a pencil.
There's too many, I can't remember if it was like a key 3rd or 4th down, but he had a guy wide open on a little out and he just threw it in the dirt.
Yeah.
It wasn't even, and they said it on the broadcast, but it's obviously easy to see. The dude throws every throw at 100 miles an hour.
100 miles an hour. So on the first drive of the game.
Again, everything after week 1 is an overreaction.
Yeah.
But everyone wanted to drag Dan Mullen and be like, this is why you weren't the coach. We had this guy and we just, I'm sure the guy who, is probably one of the better quarterback coaches in the country just didn't see it. He just didn't see it with Anthony. He just must have missed it. Too dumb of a coach.
Right.
This is probably what you're going to get with Anthony Richardson. I think, he'll come out another game and be the best guy on the field again. and then it's just going to be hot and cold with him, and you got to hope he's hot the day that you play a rival, you know?
Right.
So, I don't know. I don't know that
Florida's 2-9 their last 11 conference games. How about? Let me give you another stat though to put some positivity on. Where in the fuck is this coming? Okay, put some positivity on the Kentucky part of this. You know how many wins? You know how many years it took Kentucky to get 3 wins with Florida before it took them to do it in the last? They had 3 wins in the past 5 years. Do you know how many years prior to that it took them to get 3 wins?
I do not.
40. You won 3 of the last 5 against Florida. You're a top 10 team. You're ranked number 9 in the country under Mark Stoops. First time that's happened. He becomes the all-time winningest coach at Kentucky as well. Big deal, because that pretty sure means he passed Bear Bryant. Then you also talk about the fact that they have now beaten Florida in the swamp 2 of the past 3 times. That's fucking awesome. And like we can talk about AR all the time because it's like that's what grabs the headlines. Will Levis did not look great in my opinion. Kavasi Smoke had a huge game. They got the. You want to say they got the run game going, but they really, neither offense was great, right? Will Levis made some big plays on 3rd down. Let me look at that real quick. No, they're only 4 of 13. Maybe not. Maybe I only saw the big plays. But I think that looking at, what they're able to do moving forward, this is going to be a situation where Florida is going to go as far as Anthony Richardson will take them. Flat out.
Yeah. As far as Napier's 4th down calls, yeah, I think most of these coaches nowadays they err on the side of going for it because if you're an analytical coach, that's the math says you should in most part. I do agree that second one, there has to be some feel for what's going on in the game. I don't know that on that second one, that if you just punt it away, I guess you're risking the defense not getting it back. But like you said, Kentucky, it's not like Kentucky's offense was very good.
Right.
I mean, they had 300 yards of offense. So that's not great in today's game. So
no.
But yeah, Florida falls 1-1.
By the way,
a little bit back to reality, but I still think they're. They could challenge for second in the East still.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Well, I don't know.
Listen, weather and storm.
Kentucky beating them straight up,
go to Knoxville in 2 weeks.
Do we want to stay in the SEC East?
Yeah, Tennessee and Pitt.
Tennessee and Pitt.
Good game, huh?
Good game.
What a good game, huh?
A little lucky there with Keaton Slovis going out, I will say.
So fucking negative.
But I saw this cool stat from on Twitter from Bill Martin, who's an associate AD at Tennessee. Yeah, Cedric Tillman versus ranked teams the last 2 seasons.
No.
Why do you not want me to say this?
No, because I said this to you on our podcast about what his numbers were against Bama and against Georgia. His 2 career highs were against Bama and Georgia. You don't fucking listen. That's the problem with you. You never listen.
But I was going to go for 5 games now.
All right, go ahead, dickhead.
Okay. So, number 13, Ole Miss, 7 catches, 84 yards and a touchdown. Number 2, Bama, 7 catches, 152 yards and a touchdown. Number 18, Kentucky, 6 receptions, 79 yards and a touchdown. Georgia, 10 for 200 and a touchdown. And now number 17, Pitt, 9 receptions, 162 yards and a touchdown. The dude's money in big games.
He didn't play he played in a bowl game against Purdue, which was not against a ranked team. 7 for 150 and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's just a
kid shows up, man.
It's a big win for Tennessee. Obviously, they were favored, and it was a fight, obviously, all the way down to the overtime. But they pull it out 34-27. Any takeaways from you from this game? I kind of expected this. I thought Tennessee would win the game.
Yeah,
but yeah. What did you take away from the game?
So didn't you have something about? Hold on. Okay. Didn't you have something about this was the first time they had been favored by 5 points or more on the road since 2006?
Something like that. Yeah, I can go back and look at what it was.
So what we know about Tennessee is this: Tennessee starts early. We kind of labeled them as this team that is, hold on. Are you seeing the comment about Kentucky?
I mean, I'm guessing that's a joke.
No, he's definitely serious for sure.
Oh, okay.
Listen, I'll tell you what. So we got a comment that says you guys are both Kentucky haters no matter what. Kentucky could beat Georgia and Bama 50-0, and you still say Kentucky isn't good. I'll tell you what. I'm in a spicy mood right now, so I will entertain this for a half second. I'll tell you this. One, you will never beat either one of those teams 50-0. You might not ever beat those teams again. Second off, if you do, if you do beat them 50-0, I will come here and tell you with Mark Stoops' bourbon, and I'll buy you a bottle of it as well. We'll cheers, and I will tell you that Kentucky is good if that happens. How about that? But that's the benchmark. You set the benchmark, so they got to win 50-0. You did it to yourself.
And I don't think that we said Kentucky isn't good. I just said their offense isn't good.
That is a fan base that is constantly feels like they're overlooked no matter what. And I've told you that I don't think that they're that. Like, listen, like you beat a Florida team on the road. I think it's good. We told you all the positive things about it. Will Levis is overrated. Did he do something in this game that I missed? That I said he did a good job on third down. I even looked at the numbers and they were wrong. And I stood by it. He threw another interception. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Yeah. So the stat was Tennessee's only been favored by a touchdown or more on the road 7 times since 2008. 4 of them were Vandy.
Yeah. Well, I owe this person a steak for when I predicted Kentucky beating Florida a few years ago. So people don't forget. Oh, I know who this is. Yeah, you went on Connor's podcast and bitched about this. I don't care. I love you to death. Thank you for listening, and I'm happy for your win. I'm genuinely happy for your win. And I'll buy you a steak if you're ever in Atlanta. Anyway, so give me a second here. All right. Cedric Tillman, Tennessee. Here's what we know about Tennessee. Tennessee, we talk about this all the time, how it's like, well, they come out and they start out hot. They come out hot and they're good on script. They're good on the first couple plays, and they kind of got to get you ahead and then hope you don't settle in. We saw it last year against Bama. We saw it last year against what do you call it? Against Georgia, where they scored first against those teams. All of those things. What we saw this week was they were down 10-0 in I don't want to say hostile environment, but also a difficult environment where we saw that was kind of rattled the cage of JT Daniels and West Virginia the week before. I think that this is a really, really impressive win for a number of reasons. It's one, because it's the fact they went on the road. I don't know if you've kept up with Tennessee on the road the past couple of years. Have you looked at any of those numbers?
No.
It's not good. Like you talk about a year ago, right? Like they got blown out against a bad Florida team. They beat Missouri, lost to actually they beat Kentucky. How do they only have 4 road games? Anyway, I think this for a young team like this under a year 2 coach with Josh Heupel to go on the road against a ranked Pitt team, be down like they were, and I understand they knocked out the quarterback. Pitt had every chance to win. Pitt had every chance to win that game. They had every chance to win that game in overtime, and all Tennessee did was keep fucking plugging away and plugging away and plugging away. And they did. And you got to give them credit for that. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, it's a big win. That Tennessee-Kentucky game is going to be a huge game.
Yeah.
Tennessee-Florida will be good too.
But Tennessee-Kentucky will be better.
Yeah.
Tennessee-Kentucky will be a much better game. And Kentucky might win that game by 50. Arkansas?
Yeah, I was going to say Arkansas, South Carolina. Just keep it in the SEC East.
Yeah.
Finish that out.
What else do we have? We got to do like a quick run through of the other games, huh?
Yeah. I mean, Arkansas. My call was Arkansas on the over. I think that hit, so that was good. Mm-hmm. South Carolina's defense, they can't stop the run very well. This is what we said going into the game. It played out for them, unfortunately. Rattler looked pretty good in this game, but it was kind of like too little too late. They kind of turned it on more in the second half. They only had 9 points in the first half. But Arkansas had 23 in the fourth quarter. That's called putting the game away. But Rocket Sanders, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
The kid from Bama on defense,
Drew Sanders,
beast. Sad for Arkansas. Jalen Catalon out for the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sucks, man.
I was not impressed with the kid that transferred in for South Carolina, Stogner. He looks like he has cement on his feet when he tries to run after the catch.
Did you say cement or some meth?
Some meth.
No, Chris, I'm glad you asked.
Yeah, I did. I just want to clarify. I did say meth.
Okay, so here's my take on this, and I'm gonna pat myself on the back for a second. I said this is the case. This is going to happen for South Carolina. I also said that I didn't think Arkansas was going to win as many games because that schedule is brutal. It still is brutal. They still have a long way to go. But man, like we're not removed. We're not that far removed. Hold on, let me pull this up my handy dandy notebook, Phil Steele. We're not far removed from an Arkansas team. They're 2-0, Tyler. Do you know what their record was in 2018?
3 and something.
2-10. You know what it was in 2019?
3 and something.
2-10. You want to go for a third one? So when you talk about this team, they're going to be 3-0. Because they got Missouri State. They got Missouri State against.
And they play A&M in Dallas.
They play A&M in Dallas, and they get Bama at home. That will most likely be a college game day game and an atmosphere. It should be a lot of fun. 3:30 kick, all that good stuff. Arkansas is for real. Arkansas is good on offense. I heard a guy talking about this last night, and he's like, "There's not a starter we have besides our running back that's under 6'3". That's a big, big football team. So you're talking about being like, I don't know if that matters at all. I don't really think it does. But I will tell you that like everything that they're doing, you can't like reiterate this enough is how impressive it is that they're doing it so quickly removed from what happened a year and two ago from 3-4 years ago when Chad Morris was there, right? I don't think South Carolina's there. I said this repeatedly. I did not think that South Carolina, especially with that schedule and the talent they had coming in, the biggest thing with Spencer Rattler, you looked at his like blue chip talent around him and specifically protecting him at Oklahoma. That's a 70% completion percentage, like career wise, at Oklahoma. He had 11 4-stars or better at just the offensive line position. At South Carolina, he has 1. And I know that doesn't really mean everything, but it means a decent amount, especially in this league where games are won and lost in the trenches. You have to give a ton of credit to Sam Pittman and a ton of credit to both those what do you call it? Those coordinators. Just a fantastic job from both of them. KJ Jefferson continues to look great. But at the same time, now you're starting to see this team kind of develop what I always call a little bit of a personality, right? Where you beaten one ranked team, and then you beat a South Carolina team that was, you're only an 8-point favorite, right? You beat them at home. You beat them by 14. Probably should have been worse. Like you said, you put them away in the fourth quarter. You score, what was it here? You scored 23 points in the fourth. Yeah. You double your point total in the final quarter and put them away. And I think that's huge, man. That's huge. That's like, this is still a program like we're going to look up at the end of the year, and Arkansas could very well be 10-2. They could very well be 10-2. This team could very well challenge for a spot in Atlanta. I don't know. I don't expect that to be the case, but this is also a team that is like, they're so far ahead of where they should even be. And I think that's a scary place, in my opinion, sometimes to be. I think it's like, look at South Carolina on the other hand. They're ahead of where they should be, but now they're getting brought back down to earth. Arkansas just continues to kind of like, it's like the roller coaster, right? And I don't know if that thing's going to come back down. They look really good, man. They look really good.
Well, they're going to find out soon. They got, like I said, go to Dallas playing them, Bama. They go to Mississippi State, which I think will also be a tough game.
Mm-hmm. They
go to BYU.
I've been saying all this.
Then they go to Auburn, which they finally get a little bit of a reprieve there, it seems.
Do they? Because they haven't beaten them in 6 years.
Well, San Jose State gave it a good shot last night.
You want to talk about that for a second? I got to pee.
Yeah, let's just kind of rifle through. I don't think, were there any other big games that we're missing?
Probably. Here, you talk about something. I got to pee.
All right, that sounds good.
You got this. I believe in you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Obviously, Georgia Samford. I mean, I know there's probably a lot of Georgia fans in here.
Oh yeah, talk about that.
You're still there, huh?
Yep. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, this is
so
good.
So you're in the bathroom right now?
Shut up, Tyler.
Oh God. I'm gonna mute you. How about that?
I like that.
All right. That was weird. Anyways, Georgia, Samford. Obviously, Georgia gets the shutout there. And yeah, man, I know I saw some people complain. I mean, obviously didn't watch this game. I saw some people saying the offense looked a little dreadful. I wouldn't look into it too much. I mean, it's kind of hard to get up for a game against Samford, especially coming off that Oregon win. And you got much bigger things on your plate going forward the rest of the year. Just get in, get out. Hopefully you don't have any major injuries in a game like that. I wouldn't really look too much into their performance there on offense. Mississippi State, that was a great win for them going out to the West Coast against Arizona. Never easy to do a trip across the country like that, and they took care of business like they should have, and beat an Arizona team pretty handily, actually, out there, 39-7. So, great job by Mississippi State there. Going through here, LSU coming back, put up the 65 spot against Southern there.
I'm back. Hold on, I got a lot to say real quick.
They were up 51-0 at halftime against Southern.
Hold on. You brought up Georgia.
Yeah.
I heard this yesterday, and this is not a Kirby versus Pittman in Atlanta would be a great storyline. Yeah, it was so riveting last year when they played in Athens. That would be a fantastic storyline. Way better than a rematch of last year's national championship of the last two teams. Anyway, just giving you shit stuff. So I will say this, Georgia, I heard this yesterday. Somebody brought this up because Georgia looked pretty disjointed on offense at times, and they still won 33-0. They've given up 3 points in 2 weeks. 3 points. Stetson Bennett, I have bragged on one specific thing about Stetson Bennett, and I've been saying this since before the whole receivers shit on social media stuff. Georgia has hit a minimum. Sorry, CJ. So they have hit a minimum seven different receivers in every game for 9 straight games. This week they played Samford, and Samford obviously is FCS. It's not that great of a team. Stetson Bennett had 20 completions in the first half, and he had 11 different receivers on the receiving end of those passes. That's crazy. That's a really, really good job of what Monken does. And so I think I had some Georgia fans ask me on Saturday, they were like, what is the breaking point for the run game? Well, the breaking point is when you go fucking back to back and maybe undefeated and win a national championship for the second year in a row and the second time in 42 years. And now you can tell your rivals that, well, yeah, we had 1 in 41. We have 2 and 2 now. Like, that's the fucking breaking point. This is the offense. Get on board or get fucking left behind, because this is what they are going to do now in Athens. This is where your talent is. You have one of the best offensive lines in the SEC, maybe the country. You don't have the depth at running back that you have in the past, and that's fine because you have it in fucking boatloads everywhere else around you at the skill positions, okay? So, like, dude, you know who we haven't heard from at all? I see it. I see the comment. Eric Gilbert. We're 2 weeks in, and your potential best player or biggest mismatch on your team hasn't done anything. Like, they're going, this is the offense now. Welcome to the 21st century. This is what other teams are doing it, and Georgia is doing it at a level that is better than most. It's not LSU 2019. It's not Bama 2020, and it doesn't fucking need to be, because what you have, what those two teams didn't, is one of the best defenses in the country, if not the best defense in the country. Athletes everywhere. You won the first 2 games by a combined score of 92. Wait, no, I'm bad at math. 82-3. Pretty damn good, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Pretty good. Anybody else we're missing? Like I said, LSU had a
LSU come out and putting 37 points up in the first quarter was huge, in my opinion.
Yeah, they were up 51-0.
Weekly.
Nussmeier, clearly this is Daniel. I mean, Nussmeier looked bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is a Daniels-led team until further notice. But good for LSU to come out.
I've been doing this thing. I haven't posted it yet, but I'm gonna do it tonight about one positive thing one nice thing about each SEC team. as we go around like the league. You went up 37-0 in the first quarter, 51-0 at the half, so you bounced back. And also your head coach, Brian Kelly, his former team is 0-2 without him. They just lost to Marshall.
Yeah, let's talk about that real fast.
Yeah, we done with the SEC, right?
Marcus Freeman's 0-3 to start his career as a head coach because he coached the bowl game
in 2 of those, right? Or
he's the first coach to ever start 0-3 at Notre Dame. Not great. They couldn't run the ball against Marshall.
Yeah.
So yeah, they had that cool moment over the summer where they had the number 1 recruiting class. I don't know.
Bro, they blew a lead in the 4th.
Oh yeah.
That's bad.
They Falcons bad.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that because first off, former Bama coach at Marshall. I can't remember his name, but it's a big win for him.
Oh yeah, Charles Huff.
Yeah. So anytime Notre Dame loses, it's fucking hilarious. Are they still ranked?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Did you see Sua Cravens going off today on Twitter about that?
Oh,
like the SEC bias.
I did. Yes.
We all understand that Notre Dame's 0-2, right? So if you are ranking Ohio State ahead of anyone, and there are people ranking them ahead of Bama and Georgia, I'll say get fucked.
Well, whoa.
just flat out. It's so fucking stupid. Sorry, I should have said you're stupid.
Lastly, your boy, not really your boy, Scott Frost.
Fuck.
He finally, so I thought they were going to wait, given that it was going to save him $7 million, but you lose to Georgia Southern at home. You lose another 1-score game. You just have an impossible record in 1-score games. That's directly attributed to coaching. There's just no, it's like giving someone a resume. I'd love to become the CFO of this company. And it's like, you majored in Spanish.
Right.
No, you're not going to get the job. I'd like to handle
your finances. Chris, I've seen your actual finances. You cannot be in charge of anyone else's finances.
Right. You have that bad of a record in 1-score games. It's a direct reflection of you as a coach.
Yeah.
I mean,
let's just see what you've done. Let's look at the resume here, Scott. Chris says you have multiple subscriptions to ESPN that you could just whittle down to one. Also, OnlyFans. Who's subscribing to OnlyFans? It's me and Scott Frost getting fired.
So Frost today officially gets canned. I don't know that they can. That was, to me, that was going to be the best that they could do. Nebraska.
Yeah.
A lot of people could say this about Florida State, but it's they were really big in the 90s, Nebraska was, and it seems like they just can't compete. But it's at least with Florida State, we've won recently, obviously, a championship, but also you're in a state where you can get recruits if you do semi-well. Nebraska is not in Florida. It's in Nebraska. So I don't know a coach that would want to be go all in on being Nebraska's coach. Now you get a seat in the Big Ten, which at this point is a big deal, but that's about it. When is Nebraska ever going to win the Big Ten?
Never.
I thought Scott Frost, he goes undefeated at UCF. He brings them from being a 0-win team to being undefeated, national champions. He's the prodigal son, goes home and just shits the bed and gets canned.
Not all of us can be cool prodigal sons like me.
Yep, prodigal son.
Again. I'm just kidding.
We should mention USC.
Should we mention what your good friend Bill Plaschke said about him today?
I should not. I did not know we were friends.
No one's friends with Bill Plaschke.
No.
Bill Plaschke fucking sucks. You shouldn't say this about other people in the media, but he fucking sucks. Bill Plaschke made an article today that said USC might be back, and not might just be back to contending, but as possibly the best team in the country. If you have both of your eyes have watched football this year, and it's only been 2 to 3 weeks, depending on who you are, man, how about Nebraska opened up the season early and flew across the fucking world to fire their head coach 2 weeks later?
Lost to Northwestern.
Yeah,
and Georgia.
You're going on vacation and gotten broken up with a week later. It is not fun. Hey, that's a tough stretch there for old Scotty boy. Having FSU has more stupid.
Yeah, let's go, baby. Let us in the league. Let us in the league. Please get us out of the ACC. We'll probably lose to Louisville this week.
FSU has more SEC wins than Florida and Georgia combined. That's pretty good. I like that a lot.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of hype around USC. I mean,
for what reason?
Because it's USC. They got all those transfers, and Caleb Williams goes out 20 for 27, 341 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Jordan Addison, 7 catches on 8 targets, 172 yards, 2 touchdowns. They're gonna be popular, on ESPN and all that shit.
Right.
And it will be interesting to see. I mean, it's not like you're running a gauntlet in the Pac-12.
Right.
It will be interesting to see what they do. And you know that the media is gonna be rooting for it.
Yeah, of course. And college football fans will be at first as well. Now, I will tell you this, too. And if you're a Bama fan or a Georgia fan or you're an SEC fan or whatever, and you start thinking that, well, I'm sure that we'll get 2 SEC. The SEC getting 2 teams in here this year is not – it's not off – it's not – that's not something that I think that is a very great chance.
Right.
If you don't think that a above average USC team with 1 loss that plays in LA and wins the Pac-12, say they beat Utah and then they beat Oregon twice, they will get into the playoff and then get beat by 30 in the first round, just like fucking Lincoln Riley always does.
It's fair.
Yeah.
It's fair. At least for now. We'll see what NIL does for them. No, I mean it was a wild. There was a lot of really good games. Great, and remember the slate was not great,
right?
And this is college football, man. You just
this is
ended up being
Sparta.
A ton of good games. Obviously, we skipped BYU Baylor, but crazy BYU was down their top 2 receivers and still won. It can't happen.
Why are
Chris.
you doing this? Why are you doing this? Were they playing the best defense of all time? No, they weren't. Then suck.
I mean, Baylor's like at least top 5.
You're so stupid.
Dave Ronda, bro.
Any big, real quick, just real quick. Any fun look ahead games going into this weekend? South Carolina, Georgia's going to be a fucking massacre, and Carolina's going to be 0-3 to start their year.
Well, they did beat Georgia.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, they did beat Georgia State technically.
Let me take a look at the week 3 matchup here.
Okay. I love the fact that Youngstown State is going to Kentucky because that's where where Stoops is from. Oh, damn it. Bama's playing UL Monroe at 4:00, so I will not watch that.
Penn State, Auburn a 3-point dog at home as of right now.
I love Auburn in that spot.
BYU, Oregon. Oregon 4-point favorite. Here's one that I don't get. Look at that Ole Miss Georgia Tech line.
What is it?
14.5.
That's a good line.
You think so?
What's the first? I can't wait to see the first half line on that.
Because
that means it'll be like 6.5 or 7.
And then obviously you got Miami, Texas A&M night game.
Oh
Texas A&M is a 6-point favorite.
A 9 p.m. start.
9 p.m. Hell yeah! I love those late ones. They're the best. I mean, I don't love it necessarily, but it's like I love when the day's kind of winding down. You're like, oh man, those 3:30 games were great. 7:30, got to eat some dinner. Hopefully, it's a good game on. The best game of the day is about to start.
Yeah, that's
fucking awesome. I love it.
Okay, well, yeah, should be some fun stuff. I'm loving this Auburn Penn State matchup for a lot of reasons. We'll talk about it this week. Obviously, a reminder: we are going to a Sunday and Wednesday now recording, which means the podcast will be out Sunday night, Monday morning, and Wednesday night, Thursday morning, moving forward. If that's cool with you guys.
And if it's not, sorry.
And if you don't know, yeah, there you go. It's true. All right. Thanks, man. I appreciate that, William Gray. Said your story about your mom had me in the feels. insane story. I was thinking about telling that story again, but we're good. Tomorrow will be September 12th anyway. But if you guys are looking for any kind of like pick me up or inspiration, there's a really good story I posted on my Twitter and Facebook about my mom and September 11th. So there's that.
Cool. And it's my daughter's birthday today on September 11th.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. We got a lot of people in the live, which is great. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. Tell your friends. Live is fun because you get in here and mix it up with us. And don't forget, obviously, during the week, we'll remind you, but don't forget to call in and leave us voicemails. 424-430-0045. Save it in your phone right now so you can have that bitch on speed dial when Texas A&M loses for 2 weeks in a row. We can get some of these Texas A&M fans in here. Let's not go too far. I'll be rooting for A&M in that game, actually.
All
right, guys. Well, for Chris, I'm Tyler. Thanks for tuning in. Go watch House of Dragons. We'll see you soon.